Welcome to the Posscast, where we dig through the sewers of Reddit to find the worst RPG horror stories to bring to you live, now in Technicolor.
Yeah, I found a story.
I also found a story. I found two.
I also found two. I lied.
Ah! How can we ever trust
Devious.
you?
I'm fucked up and evil.
No, you're a little meow meow.
Nah,
Poor little meow meow.
I'm the new glup shitto of the week.
You're Blorbo. From my shows. The shows.
You know, I took a U quiz result, and it said that if I was a dude, the fandom would fucking woobify me to no end.
Oof.
Because I'm a girl. They just hate me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anywho,
Yeah.
I have mine are like fairly long, and yours are medium to short. So, do you want to start with mine and sandwich yours in between, like a nice layered cake, or do we want to go with yours first, like a wonderful deep dish pizza?
I'm unsure. Let's just go with yours first so that I can sit back and, like, crack my knuckles a little bit and see if it picks up on the mic.
All right.
It'll definitely pick up on... It won't pick up on Discord, but it'll pick up on this.
All right. So, this one was posted 5 days ago by RPG Storytime Throw. It has 360 votes, or upvotes. And it is called The Time My Character Was Executed by DM Fiat. Yeah. This one's...
Yeah, I saw that one and skimmed through it a little bit. And I was like, nah. Mostly because I skimmed really hard and just kind of, like, assumed that the writer was the problem.
I also skimmed and, don't think the writer is the problem, necessarily.
And I basically just skipped to the end and saw, like, oh, okay, he did that. Alright, story. No spoilers.
I'm not sure how common this is, but this is one story where I was at least part of the problem. I'm honestly curious.
Right.
Well, let's get into it. I'm honestly curious as to how much other people would put on me. So consider this an Am I the Asshole crossover. Oh boy, we get to vote on whether or not they're an asshole at the end.
Oh, should we do the r/ method and rate them 1 out of 5 buttholes?
Yeah. Okay. So, also, I put a TLDR at the bottom instead of editing down to reasonable length. So, I played this character for over a year in a D&D campaign. Back then, I was a university student. That was long ago. Over the course of a number of incidents, he changed as a character. And I felt like I was making reasonable role-playing decisions at the time, but by the end, the DM decided to have him killed for the good of the game. At the start of the campaign, the DM gave us a bunch of guidelines to work with. It was a low magic, low tech world. Metal was going to be hard to come by. He didn't forbid magic-based classes, but he said that there would be some stigma against them, and magic was rarer than the standard in D&D. The homebrew setting involved a conflict between light and shadow, factions that were distinct from good and evil. We didn't have to pick a side, but the group decided to be shadow-aligned. I'm not sure how we decided this, but one of the players worked out a fun homebrew Shadow Paladin with the DM, so we went along with it. We were going to be from a small fishing village that was being oppressed by a nearby group of barbarians. I pitched a human ranger who hunted for the village. I'll call him Ranger. He was a widower with a teenage son to take care of, and had a dark personality. He hated the barbarians and wanted payback against them, so I asked if it was a problem to play an evil character, and I was given the go-ahead. So I put him down as neutral evil and described him as closer to neutral, but a little bit too selfish and vindictive. During the first session, the DM had everyone add one connection to the character between their character and the character of the player to their left. Now, I forget exactly what we were told the bounds were, but in any case, the player next to me decided that his rogue was the reason that my ranger's wife died. That someone would... oh, I forget the details, but I think it was something like he'd stolen some medicine that she needed without realizing someone would soon desperately need it, and she died because the village healer couldn't save her without it. No one else knew this happened. So, we go off on our own way and try to save the village. At some point it was destroyed, and we start a migration with our characters guarding the other villagers and looking for a new place to settle. Then the ranger told the rogue what the ranger was told what the rogue had done. I forget the context, but given the way it was described to him and the way I'd been playing him, it was clear the ranger would murder the rogue. I talked to the rogue's player out. I talked to the rogue's player out of character and was trying to find a solution that would work for both of us. He wanted to keep playing his character, and I wanted to find a satisfying way to roleplay my character. The DM said he'd think about it too, and we'd work it out next session. Next week, the game opened with my character having a vision. The god of hatred appeared to him in his dreams and asked for his service. He would grant my ranger power, but in exchange, he must swear not to kill the person he hates the most. This worked for me.
Huh.
Yeah, like a Sith. You know, if you kill them, then you won't have anything to fuel your hatred, you know? You
gotta keep them alive so you can keep that hate engine running.
Yep. I personally think that is a good solution. It's a reasonable enough solution.
It's about as good a solution as you can get by having a god descend from the heavens, basically.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Thinking about it now, I think the best solution would be like the rogue and ranger fighting, and then like right before he kills, being like, "Nah, it's not what my wife would have wanted." You know?
Yeah, that
character development.
That, or have them tussle and then the rest of the party pull them apart.
Yeah. I think the best solution would be, like, getting to the point where you're about to kill them and then not, because character development...
I mean, probably the best solution is don't be a major part of someone else's backstory if you don't talk to them first.
Yeah, that was also a major thing I know. I don't think that it's a good idea to force your players to have a connection to another player. I don't think that's a good idea.
Don't force it. Allow it, but don't force it.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. My character got a nifty artifact and a follower, and we had some fun role-playing the antipathy between him and the rogue. Ranger naturally...
It's like the opposite of empathy.
Oh, okay, I see. Ranger naturally became more
sympathy. I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's a synonym for hatred, probably. Ranger naturally became more evil given that he was a sworn servant to the god of hatred. Fast forward.
I found it.
Fast forward some time, and we have a random encounter with a werepanther, and my character fails to save. Our DM was excited to try out some new lycanthropy rules from the Dragon magazine, or maybe Dungeon magazine, or maybe Dungeons and Dragons magazine. That was my joke. So we had an argument there because the rules made my character.
I'm so glad you don't laugh like I'm so glad you don't laugh like that for real.
Yeah, no.
I don't know if I could be your friend if you laughed like that.
Yeah, no, that's my fake laugh for bad jokes. We had an
Alright, sorry.
argument because the rules made my character unplayable, but we worked out some modifications and I rolled with it. One possibility was having my character become an NPC and rolling up another one for myself. But I think the DM really wanted one of us to use the lycanthropy rules. I would have gone that route and then played the son, the ranger's son, because I think that would be an interesting development.
That could work.
Because he did say that he was teenage when the campaign started. We don't know how much time has passed, but I mean, it's reasonable that he'd be a young adult now.
It's wild. It's wild the time difference in D&D.
Oh, yeah. Like, in Worlds of Tapir, we've been playing for 2.5 years, and only like 5 months have passed.
Yeah.
It'll be 6 months on the winter solstice, which is...
A 3-minute battle takes like an hour and a half. 5 months takes 2.5 years.
Yeah. And an hour of shopping takes 5 hours.
Yeah, but 4 hours of travel only takes about 5 minutes.
Yeah. I do love shopping episodes, though. They are my favorite.
Yeah, they are good.
Yep. So, the key thing here is that my character now occasionally had to eat a human, or he would take permanent wisdom damage.
What?
Also, he would at various times transform into a werepanther without control over his actions in Rampage. I asked about a possibility of eating non-human player races, but rules is written lycanthropes only escape wisdom damage by eating humans, no matter what their own base race was. So my character was now a cannibal. I decided that he would make a hard distinction between the people he was protecting, the villagers, and other humans, and only prey on them. Rogue had been an outsider too, stranded in the village via shipwreck, and which influenced this. What is wrong with my pronunciation today? I am putting inflection on the wrong syllables.
You should have played it up for that. It would have been funny.
Yeah, but it's... Okay, so for context, we are recording this like an hour after I woke up.
Yeah, and I've been awake all night.
Yeah, you haven't even slept yet.
Nah. I'm nocturnal.
Yeah. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention, this is going to be the final Posscast of the year, as it's being posted on New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. Hopefully... Oh, go on.
Don't forget to eat your black-eyed peas and cabbage.
Yep.
For good luck.
Yep.
Do you do that?
Nope.
Oh, it must be like a Central Texas thing.
I am Central Texas. I'm Austin.
Maybe it's a Waco thing. I don't know.
Well, I don't do any like New Year's traditions in general, other than just staying up all night. Anywho, Rangers started treating people from other groups worse, and generally became more evil. There was one more incident that stands out to me, and honestly, I feel like this is the place where I was most out of line, but it was my first time gaming with the other player involved, and we're still friends, gaming together years later. Apparently he was cool with it, but I don't think I would be now. Anyway, one more incident No, I just read that paragraph. Anyway, a new player and character were introduced to the group. An elf was some sort of homebrew elf subtype that had light powers, and he was working for our current enemy and was introduced as an antagonist. I don't know exactly what the DM was thinking here, but the Shadow Aligned party captured the elf after the second time he messed with our plans. Here again, I couldn't figure out a way to roleplay Ranger consistently without killing another PC, let alone having him join the party. Ranger tied Elf to a tree and tortured him while I talked to the other players out of character, trying to find a solution. I proposed that his character swear obedience to mine, and I wouldn't actually give him orders or really expect Elf to obey Ranger, and that's what we went with. A while later, the DM started a session with a long description about my character getting kidnapped. There was a trial, and the other PCs tried to influence things, but there was an angry mob, and that together with the guards, wherever we were, couldn't be overcome. My character was executed for lycanthropy, and I talked to the DM about it afterwards, and he said my character was too disruptive to the campaign. This is Rogue talking. I want to point out that the disruptions were because of the decision that the DM made. You know?
Yeah.
Forcing him to use the lycanthropy rules, introducing a character that is the enemy, a player character that is the enemy, to
allowing a player to be a major part of a character's backstory, but not for the good reasons.
Yeah, that too.
Not like, he was my best friend growing up, and we shared all of our video games, and he gave me a shiny nickel.
Yeah, it's...
it's like, he killed my wife indirectly.
Yeah. And, has a DM never seen The Prestige? The Prestige is a really good movie. It's about two magicians that have a bitter rivalry because when they were doing stage magic together, one of them used the wrong knot when tying up the other's wife for the underwater escape trick, because she insisted that she would be able to escape from it, but she couldn't, so she died, and that started their bitter rivalry. Yeah, I fucking love The Prestige. It's not The Illusionist, which is the one with Jessica Biel that came out around the same time, which is okay at best. So, it was too disruptive. I remember being surprised at the time. I don't remember an incident which had happened recently before the session where my character was the problem, but, I may have missed something. I felt at the time that the DM may have been frustrated over my character constricting possible story developments for the party, and there was also his general behavior, since he had to murder and eat NPCs occasionally. But that's not something I normally would have a PC do. But it was an element I felt the DM forced on my character. Now, I think that it's possible that another player complained to the DM and he didn't want to reveal that. Pure speculation, though. As I can't remember any incident that would trigger that, and it didn't occur to me as a possibility at the time. I kept playing with a new character, and the campaign ended when the DM had a child with his fiancée, so it ended about as well as a story like this can. Alright, so... do we want to rate the butthole before or after our thoughts?
I say before so that we can evaluate.
Alright. Drumroll. I'm going to rate it 1 butthole out of 5.
I was going to go 1.5, maybe 2, but yeah.
A lot of the, if the story is being truthful, because, typically you gotta... whenever it's an am I the asshole situation, I always take it with a grain of salt, because typically they do try to embellish to make themselves
seem a little better in the situation.
Yeah, like that one...
unless they're entirely and completely entirely unself-aware.
Yeah, like that one guy that was blaming his entire party, and then the party found the post and in the comments pointed out every single contradiction.
And the way he tried to save face and all of that.
Yeah,
oh my god, cringe.
Yeah.
Cringe of the highest order.
God, we should do that one at some point. I love that one.
What?
Yeah, all of the disruptions are because of things the DM pushed onto this character. The lycanthropy, forcing him to eat humans specifically, forcing player bonds, uh, forcing player bonds between players. Like you said, it's okay to allow it, but don't force it.
Yeah.
Like, all of these things are what led to this ending up the way it is. I think the DM is the butthole here. Well, probably not intentionally malicious, but way too eager to try out some new mechanics without thinking it through.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I would, if I was, if y'all
Also,
got...
I would say DM's the asshole simply because he took away player agency. He killed them without letting them like really fight back.
That too. So, if I introduce lycanthropy into my campaign, first of all, I would not require them to eat humans, because that's very constricting. And I would have there be a quest to cure it. It wouldn't be as easy as remove curse, but I would have a quest where it can be removed.
Just promise me you won't make Lavira into a fucking Dampier. I want to keep that pack tactics.
I make no promises about potential vampires. But don't worry,
Right.
It's not being bit that kills you, it's dying from the bite that kills you.
True.
So as long as you don't die, you should be good.
I'll be fine as long as I'm not exsanguinated.
Exactly.
However, if I am and I get back up, oops.
Yeah.
I'll just have to eat more raw meat.
Yeah.
Or I believe the handbook for the character rule says that one of the unnatural urges is like cerebrospinal fluid.
Oh, brain vampires. You're basically a jockey.
Hold on. Dampier.
God. Anytime I think about
Race.
cerebrospinal fluid, I think of the Spinal Tap.
Dampier hungers. 6 options. If you can't think of one, it's got the 6. Roll d6. Number 3, cerebral spinal fluid.
Nice.
Right between psychic energy and flesh or raw meat.
Yeah. What are the others, out of curiosity?
Blood, dreams, and life energy.
Dreams?
Steal their dreams.
Hell yeah. That actually sounds... Oh my god, that's actually perfect for a thing I have planned.
Now the question is, does that mean restless nights or endless nightmares? Restless, dreamless nights or endless nightmares?
I don't know. I would probably rule it as, like, dream hopping, and you turn their dreams into nightmares.
Maybe.
But that's something to think about if you become a Dampier.
Yeah.
Because there's still no guarantee. Like, there's no guarantee that you'll even encounter vampires. But it is a possibility. It is an it's an open world.
There's a large chance that we may.
Yeah, it's
simply because of the fact that, like, in lore, one of the previous BBEGs was a vampire man.
Yeah, about 30 years ago.
Well, specifically a vampire.
Vampire Lord.
Alright.
Uttering his name would cause storms to form.
Alright. So do you want fun story or asshole story?
Let's go asshole story while we're on the, that way we can end it on a fun note.
Yeah, alright. Okay, so, posted about 15 hours ago as of recording this by user -TSH-crossbow with 30 upvotes. Player wants to win at D&D by cheating, antagonizing players, and lying to a new DM.
Oh boy.
Yes. For starters, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Christmas will be over by the time anyone other than us hears this, but Happy New Year.
Yes.
And maybe Kwanzaa if it's still going. I don't know when Kwanzaa happens. I have no idea. So, this story is somewhat of a continuation of my Burning Man story, featuring Burning Man as a player and me as the DM.
Kwanzaa ends on New Year's Day.
Ah, and happy Kwanzaa. If you didn't read the Burning Man story, and there's a link to it, the TLDR is racist, queerphobic, ableist asshole nukes his own campaign. But this story happened before that.
Oh boy. This is like a prequel.
Yes. A prequel to a story that we haven't read, and might not. I don't know.
Maybe
read it next week.
Yeah, read it next week.
Let me look at the length of it real quick, actually. Ooh. Yeah, it's okay. It's a decent length.
Alright, yeah. I'll vote it so that we can read it next week.
Alright. I accidentally clicked the wrong button on my mouse. I was trying to close the tab and I upped my fucking DPI.
Oh god, that's terrible.
I was running this campaign alongside Burning Man's campaign for the same group of people, with the only difference in that I was the DM and Burning Man was a player. I thought I knew everyone in the group fairly well, so when it was character creation time, the only thing I asked of everyone is not to min-max, as I was a new DM. And this was the first campaign I ever ran, but I also wanted to be the cool DM, so I would allow almost everything. Everyone made fairly standard characters. We had a monk, rogue, cleric, and a paladin. Burning Man didn't join the first session, so I didn't know what character he was playing yet, and I regret finding it.
Oh boy.
Burning Man had joined the second session. When asked what he was playing, he said he was playing a mystic. I did allow Handbook and Unearthed Arcana, but I said that they need to run by me first. I didn't. Furthermore, when I asked him, "Isn't Mystic a super broken UA?" he told me that he nerfed it. Little did I know, what he did was combine all the UA's Mystic subclasses into one and call it a nerf because more options confused me. Yeah, that's the reason. That's the reasoning he gave.
Oh god, this guy's an asshole.
Yeah. I know this is my fault, and I should have asked him to change his character, but I didn't expect this campaign to run long. Side note, the campaign was originally a 2-shot, but everyone's having fun, so we decided to keep going. And I was new. This character was a monster. He could heal, tank, deal damage, and lift buildings. Worst part is that whenever this character would do anything, Burning Man would gloat about it. Now, I knew something was wrong with the character. Even past his overpowered class features, his stats didn't make any sense. He had 2 20s and nothing below a 12 at level 5 without taking an ASI or any magic items. This is practically impossible. Even if he rolled 2 18s, the maximum he would get his character build was a 20 and a 19. That's not the worst part, because he had an extra 40 HP. After I fixed his character and nerfed his class, he didn't want to show up to the next session, but unfortunately, he did, and when I told him no, he can't one-shot the boss that still had 100 HP by ripping its head off.
Yeah, what, does he have a Vorpal blade or some shit?
He screeched into the mic and left. This is a 23-year-old man. He returned 30 minutes later to guilt trip everyone because no one liked his character. Mind you, his character was chaotic evil in a neutral good party, and he would actively antagonize players and NPCs. After that, we had a time skip where everyone got 5 levels. This time I learned my lesson and checked Burning Man's sheet, and guess what? He cheated. He multi-classed into Wizard with 12 intelligence when the minimum needed was 13. He used the old Mystic, and he had an extra 60 HP this time. In all honesty, I don't know why he added HP, because in combat he would never decrease it when he took damage. When I fixed it again, he threw another tantrum, said the only reason I'm targeting him was that I don't understand his genius.
Wow, you wrote
His genius
down
was
big.
a muscle wizard, a meme from 2010.
His genius is writing down big numbers on a piece of paper. Like, it's not about the stats.
Apparently, he's a genius, but he can't wrap his head around all the options for the mystic
Yeah,
subclasses.
he's a genius, but he gets confused. Oh god, this guy seems like he's one meme away from calling himself a certified genius. Which,
God.
big red flag, for those of you who know.
Anyway, he kept antagonizing everyone to the point where players started asking me to kick him out. But before I could, he pissed off the cleric's moon goddess, and the goddess's pet rabbit skewered him with 100 arrows.
Nice.
Not gonna lie, I felt good. That's the end of the story. He forced himself into another game I was running, but that story's for another time. Sorry if this story got a bit long. I was trying to keep the word count to a minimum.
Alright.
So,
this guy's an asshole.
This guy's an absolute asshole.
I don't understand min-maxers. I don't understand power gamers. Like, it doesn't... That's... Hitting things hard is not what D&D is about. And...
Well, don't forget. They try to go as much as they can into, what fits their class. Like, a min-maxing rogue, for example, might have, 20 dexterity, advantage on
Dex
solo
stuff.
and group attacks.
That's okay, fine. But fine, I shouldn't have lumped min-maxers in there, but I don't understand power gamers. The ones who make their characters without flaw and just like, that is a boring character. You know why the Superman radio play introduced Kryptonite? It's because they were losing viewership because nothing could stop Superman. Everyone knew that he would win, so they stopped listening. That's why the radio play introduced Kryptonite, so that it would actually add tension. There was a possibility of Superman losing. And you know what? That was the best fucking addition to anything in DC, because it led to the death of Superman, which was one of the best events.
It's why I don't watch Marvel movies anymore. The good guys are gonna win. The bad guys are gonna either die or just walk away with their asses handed to them.
I think that the Multiverse of Madness is okay, because there isn't exactly a good and bad. It's just differing ideologies.
Well, that one doesn't count, because I don't know if that one has actually a real antagonist, or if it's
does.
If it's just I did you not hear me when I said I don't watch Marvel movies?
That's fair.
I also have ad blockers, so I don't see commercials.
It's like Civil War, but with magic.
I didn't watch Civil War.
Civil War. I think Civil War is fine enough.
I think the premise behind it is stupid.
Well, the premise behind it was very different. Similar. So, did you ever watch Deadpool 2?
No, I haven't seen Deadpool 1.
Okay. Well, in the original Civil War, what it was a mutant had basically exploded, like lost control powers and exploded, and that led to the government having to, like, make a registry of mutants and, like, basically make sure people who have superpowers are able to control them and limit collateral damage and stuff. Give them accountability.
Because now, like, every other day, some asshole's fucking finding out that he can punch really good, and then he punches his arms off.
Yeah, and then, but doing so would require them to reveal their secret identities and give up any chance at a normal life. And so it was basically about accountability versus individuality, and it was a very complex issue. I think it was Spider-Man started on the side of like siding with the registry, and then moving over to the side of individuality. But anywho, the Civil War comics were pretty good. I'm probably butchering the explanation a lot.
I feel like, okay, so not every mutant is gonna be a fucking superhero. So I feel like an absolute minority of them are going to be superheroes. I feel like a registry, you know, is it a publicly accessible registry, or is it just government run?
I do not remember.
Not that it really matters for like fucking superheroes who have super villains who can hack into whatever.
Yeah.
But like for just like your average guy, yeah, maybe it's good for the government to be able to like come in and actually do its job and protect you as a citizen, you know, from your weird ability to
shoot
the energy
lasers
out of any
shoot lasers out of your armpit
in a town.
Yeah. Accidentally lick a battery and suddenly a massive EMP. Well, what if that happens in a hospital? All those people on life support. Yeah, those are the kinds of arguments for the But anywho, circling back to the story, because we went way off topic.
Yeah, we did.
Power gamers. They
don't
suck.
Be an asshole.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a power gamer. It ruins the fun. Right, because we were talking about how Superman lost viewerships, and that's why they had kryptonite.
And then I talk about how I don't watch Marvel movies.
Yeah. Alright, so, let's move to my second story. A tidal wave of D20s clattering across the table like an aggressive stone tumbleweeds.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah?
That's why I like Loki, because he's an antagonist, but they're making him the protagonist. He's evil.
He's not
the main character.
Loki is not evil, he's mischievous.
He's an asshole.
Yes. He's a dick. He's a rogue.
He was a bit of evil in the Avengers movie, though.
Yeah. Well,
tell me, did he give off big trickster energy when he released giant sky centipedes into New York?
I mean, kinda.
When he enslaved a bunch of people? It's not trickery, that's just evil.
Yeah,
anyway,
well, he was doing so because Thanos, like, offered him the things he wanted.
True.
Like, he was fulfilling Thanos' plan, not his own. So, this was posted 9 days ago. It has 992 upvotes. It is by Asterion Del Toro. Okay. So, game night at the FLGS. We try not to judge, but you could tell right from the get-go that Newbie was going to be a problem. He saunters in wearing all black and a stainless steel skull ring. Slouches in his chair like he's hot shit. Makes small talk with the rest of the players, taking effort to point out that his favorite media properties are cooler than theirs. Comes prepared with a ready-built character, a stock-standard mysterious rogue with a mysterious backstory. Bends the DM's ear before the game about wanting a quote-unquote realistic campaign. All the veteran players sigh internally. Because everyone at the table is a veteran player. And the DM is a veteran DM. So Newbie sticks out like a sore thumb. So, start off in a tavern. Cliche because it works. I agree.
Yes.
DM describes a packed tavern on a cold winter night with the snow gently falling. Inside a jovial scene that includes a roaring fire, a cheerful half-orc bartender, and a human barmaid. For once, the newbie with the edgy rogue is not sitting in the dark corner brooding, and is instead talking with the barmaid.
Of course.
Yeah.
Where else would he live?
You're cute, he says. She blushes and thanks him. How much? He asks. She quotes him the prices for the drink and the meal, and he says, nah. I mean, how much to get you to come to me with my bedroom tonight? The DM sighs, externally this time. She scoffs at you and walks away towards another table. The newbie sneers at the DM. I catch her by the arm and tell her that it's no use playing. I know how to make it good for her if that's what she's worried about. The DM says the barmaid shakes out of newbie's grip and continues walking away. The newbie gets pissed and starts yelling at the DM that he should at least get to roll persuasion. The DM's playing the barmaid all wrong. The DM tells him that the barmaid is not a prostitute, to which newbie replies, of course she is. That's what wenches do. At this point, yeah. At this point, another player cuts in to the effect that actually most taverns in the Middle Ages were family-owned businesses, meaning the waitstaff were usually the owner's relatives. Taking cue, the DM says the bartender taps the newbie rogue on the shoulder and asks why he's getting all handsy with his daughter. Q screaming from the newbie, arguing with the rest of the table that the DM's pulling stuff out of his ass, because how could a half-orc father a human child? I don't know, maybe the half-orc has a kid with a human. Do you wonder what the half of a half-orc is? Like, that would make the daughter a quarter orc, but still enough human to be classed as a human. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. The argument goes on for 10 minutes. At one point, a player says, God. In real life, there are mixed-race people with lighter skin. More shockingly, there are also mixed-race people with darker skin, which is hilarious. I think maybe you had to be there. Finally, the newbie has enough and says, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna stab the bartender dead. And then take the winch and drag him behind the bar to get some. The argument stops. The table's stunned. The DM asks if he's sure, but he's interrupted by the newbie rolling to hit and then for damage. The DM leans back tiredly. For a moment, he asks a player to borrow his D20s. The player hands him a D20, and the DM asks if he could borrow another. The DM goes around the table borrowing every player's D20s. Some have extras for spare, or luck, or speed, to speed up rolls with advantage. Then he goes to the store counter.
Smart.
He goes to the counter and buys more D20s, winding up with about 24 20 sliders in all. Nobody knows what he's up to. And finally, he sits back down behind the screen and speaks. Okay, your attack hits and your dagger sinks into the bartender's belly. He stumbles backwards, clutching his side, and the barmaid screams, which gets the attention of all the other patrons. For a second, there's complete silence. And then a voice that says, holy shit, he just stabbed old Otto! Shit, he's gonna kill him! Wait, if the bartender dies, that means no beer! No beer! No beer! All eyes turn on you as a cry goes up. Get him! Get him! And he rolling for initiative for the entire bar, which, stated in the beginning, was packed. The DM rolls a tidal wave of D20s, all different sizes of material, clattering across the table like aggressive stone tumbleweeds, ricocheting off each other and knocking over minis and making an ungodly racket. The DM asks the players what they do. They opt to sit at their tables, sipping their drinks as the newbie rogue is dogpiled on by 20 half-drunken commoners. He tried to fight back, but is quickly grappled to the ground and beaten unconscious by nearly 50 fists doing 1d4 damage each, plus one man with a walking stick that dealt 1d6. The mob steals all the rogue's gear, including his clothes, and drags his unconscious body outside and hangs him up by the tree by his ankles, upside down and naked. Should I remind you, a cold winter night with snow gently falling. They use hot pitch to write, "Look at this ass," on his rear end. The newbie is seething. The rest of the players are laughing their asses off. Meanwhile, the party gives the bartender medical attention and gets some free drinks for the trouble. Later on, after picking up the quest hook, they take pity on the sulking newbie and cut his rogue down with the logic that he might be useful if there are traps. Newbie goes on them with the adventure, but is clearly deflated. He leaves the game halfway through and makes some excuse about having other things to do. He never returns to the store.
Good.
Yeah, so, don't piss off the person serving drinks. Like, that's rule 1.
Don't piss off the people who are being served the drinks.
The quickest way to piss off the people being served the drinks is to piss off the person serving the drinks. And, typically taverns and tavern keepers are some of the more respected people in town because they serve the drinks. So, a tavern owner might have more favor with the public than, like, the mayor, for example.
And definitely more favor with the town than some random asshole.
Yeah, some asshole who strolls in and treats the staff like they're prostitutes. Like, all it would have taken is to ask the DM if there were any ladies of the night. Though, asking that as the first question in a campaign from a new player would send red flags, if I'm being honest. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I do like this DM, because that is a really, really good reality check for this person who's clearly on, like, their first character and has a misconception about what D&D is like. And, I don't know, I don't trust anyone who asks for a quote-unquote realistic campaign.
Yeah.
Because, like, I understand having a low magic system where magic is more rare. Like that, I'm fine with. But generally, when people say they want a quote-unquote more realistic campaign, it usually means they want to be able to be an asshole to everyone. Because, more often than not, people who ask for a realistic campaign don't actually know jack shit about medieval history. Like, they're the kinds of people who think that everyone was just shit-covered wearing dull brown clothes, when in the medieval times, people wore very brightly colored clothes. Like, just regular people had some, like, colored cloth.
Not
like,
purple, obviously.
Yeah, no, only
other colors.
Yeah, you know, like reds and
reds
and greens were the most common.
Do you know how fucking easy it is to get red and green different dyes?
Yeah.
Especially if you're someone who, 1, owns animals that can bleed a lot, and 2, have grass.
Yeah. Or maybe you have a poppy field, poppy fields were very common because they were used in medicine in medieval times. Because, you know, poppies make
drugs.
Yeah. Poppies are medieval cocaine. Is it cocaine that poppies make?
No, it's opium.
Opium. My mistake. Look, I don't do hard drugs. I only do the weed, the bleezy blizzy, the devil's lettuce, the ganja.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally do. I totally smoked that dank shit. I can't actually smoke. I have a collapsed lung.
Drugs.
I do edibles. I am okay with edibles. I can do that because, they don't have to pass through my lungs.
Yeah.
I can't even vape with my shit cringe lungs.
Ugh.
So yeah,
Cringe fail lungs redemption arc when?
So yeah, this player is an asshole. The DM, fantastic. I probably would have done the same in that situation. Either that or just say, no, you don't. And then when they throw a fit, being like, hey, player agency, it's like, I would kick them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause that shit ain't gonna fly at my table.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So, your final story.
Yes. Hold on, I feel like a tickly in my nose. Hi.
God, I love Action Economy.
So, posted 4 days ago by user Spodson with 29 upvotes. A love letter to Andy Bong. Inspired by the story by user Danger Noodle Jorm, I was inspired to tell the story of the unluckiest player I ever met.
Oh no, does he have the Wheaton curse?
It gets into it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Andy Bong and I met in high school in the early 90s. We bonded as class outsiders and hung out periodically. But our friendship really took off when we started playing TTRPGs together. He was fun to play with. He laughed easily and had some of the most entertaining freakouts I've ever seen. He was also the best damn rules lawyer in the business, but he would constantly be dogged by the worst luck in-game. Every instance was dice-driven, completely random, and in no way motivated by any other player or DM. We all liked him a ton, still do, and weren't trying to get him for anything. Examples? D&D. Andy Bong would wait till we all picked our character classes before he would pick his to round out the party. As a result, he always got stuck with support classes. He would inevitably play a cleric. He hated them, but on the few occasions we insisted he pick first, his characters wouldn't last long. For example, a wild magic mage. This character picked up a cursed artifact once that made him have to fill out paperwork before casting a spell.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love that.
He thought the curse came from a table about possible side effects to wild magic. The character was useless in any situation, and he quit using him before the cause of the curse was revealed. But he survived, which wasn't usual for him. The next mage he rolled up ended... Fuck, I'm getting a phone call, hold on.
So, I am a big fan of stories that involve the Wheaton curse. For those of you who don't know, Will Wheaton is a D&D. He's an actor. He played Wesley Crusher on Star Trek The Next Generation. And he has terrible luck when it comes to playing not just D&D, but any role-playing game. He is just... He has the worst luck. Even in systems where rolling low is good, that's when he starts to roll high.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright.
The next mage he rolled up lasted 2 rounds of combat before he was smashed by a falling rock. His next mage found a pile of dragon bones that he insisted on using for spell components. Well, it turned out to be a Dragolith, the great unnamed evil we were sent to destroy. As soon as it was revealed that the bones moved, he simply left the game.
Oh god. That's hilarious.
Aliens Adventure RPG. Full disclosure, this system is a player killer system that's so lopsided that it was recommended to us that we roll up 2 or 3 characters.
Oh boy.
Andy Bong got off the dropship and was almost immediately grabbed and carried off like a sack of potatoes by a xenomorph. In a poorly conceived and ill-executed rescue attempt, my character shot him in the spine. Yeah, the hit location charts were very specific. And killed him. My bad.
Oh,
His
God.
second character had his head ripped off when he stuck it through a hole in the door. Last character was the officer in the dropship giving order. Turbulent weather took out that character on takeoff. Never played that game again. I sometimes still try to get him to play it for old time's sake.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, hold on, there's more.
Oh boy.
Cyberpunk 2020. We started rolling with a new group for this game. A good group of guys that turned out to be a mess. Andy Bong and I were both bog-standard street samurais. We kicked around Night City for a few sessions, and he hit a bad save and a sniper took his head clean off.
Jesus.
He rolled up another character, and we were sent by Blimp to the East Coast. Along the way, the Blimp was shot down, and once again, thanks to some bad savings throws, he was crushed to death under flaming Blimp parts.
Oh, stop, he's already dead.
Palladium, the only system his primary character didn't die. But after 10 years with the same character, we wound up going toe-to-toe with the four horsemen of the apocalypse. His character was targeted early in the battle, and we beat a hasty retreat as GM and I were sure that losing that character would have broken him. We retired our characters after that. Cyclone and David Beckett will live on in legend in our time RPing. He and I don't really roleplay together much anymore, but he still comes in with stories of his most recent adventures, and of course his numerous and violent deaths.
He's like the poster. Okay, so when D&D when D&D got new artists, and they had a new, effectively a poster child. Not a poster child. They had effectively a mascot, which was a bog standard white guy fighter, which the artists that they hired really didn't like. So the artist in every depiction drew him dying a gruesome death, such as getting his brain sucked out by an illithid, or being crushed by a dragon, or being eaten by a slime. Ah, God, what's his name?
It was posted to the server.
Yeah.
Was it this server or the D&D server?
I think it was the D&D server. I'm gonna look in memes. Oh, God.
Maybe the other D&D server?
Yeah, check Chalkvy's server. Oh, no, I found it. Okay. But Redgar. It's Redgar.
Redgar.
Yeah, Redgar dies so many times. So yeah, this person's like a real life Redgar.
Unfortunate.
You know what I would do if I had that terrible luck? I would like talk to the DM and ask if I can make I would roll up a reborn, a character that's a reborn, which is playable undead, half undead. It's one of those lineages like Vampire and Hexbloods, one of those kinds of things. And I would ask if my character can be a revenant. Like whenever they die, like the next day they just come back to life. That's what I would do if I had that terrible luck. That way I can actually enjoy a character. Maybe have it be like, oh, they were cursed from the gods and they want to die permanently. And so they're trying to find a way to permanently die. You know, a reluctant immortal.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I don't even have any advice for this. If you have terrible luck like that, there's nothing you can do.
Have you considered conducting a seance around your dice?
I would assume
maybe get some sage.
Yeah, get a rabbit's foot, find a 7-leaf clover, carry around a horseshoe, because I'm
Burn
assuming...
some sage, light some candles, maybe try to get a good word in or two with Gaia.
Yeah, because I'm assuming that at that point he probably would have tried many different dice sets.
Yeah, I mean, he had to have, right?
Yeah, they've been gaming together for over 10 years. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. I feel nothing but pity for this person. That's even worse than Corvus's luck.
Oh yeah. At least Corvus isn't constantly murdered.
Yeah.
Alright.
That concludes this podcast. The lessons learned were, don't be an asshole, obviously.
Yeah, don't. It's mostly just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
I think we're going over repeated lessons at this point.
It's our catchphrase at this point. Specifically, don't force your players into a situation and then punishing them for the situation you force them into. Don't be a power gaming jackass. Don't be a power... Yeah. Don't be a murder hobo. And sometimes you just roll bad.
Sometimes God hates you.
Yeah, sometimes RNGesus hates you.
Maybe go to church. Go to church.
Go to digital church.
I don't care what church. I don't care. Not specifically church. Go to a place of spiritual worship, perhaps.
Roll up a halfling divination wizard with the lucky feat. It won't help, but it'll make it seem like it's helping. It'll be a placebo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so there's plenty other stuff that you can check out on the channel if you like this. If you want to see more of us, we do have Ace Attorney. We're almost done with Chapter 4, or Episode 4.
Yeah.
And then it's on
the first Ace Attorney game.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be jumping into Ace Attorney 2 or 3 anytime soon.
Yeah, we definitely will, but not soon.
Yeah, no, not soon. Well, we will in like a year.
Maybe less.
No.
It depends.
I think making Ace Attorney a yearly playthrough would be a fine thing to do.
Maybe.
There is also Tabletop Thursdays, which Biddy and I play Tabletop Simulator with our friend Chalkfee.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Chalkfee also runs Curse of Strahd, which you can catch bi-weekly. I am playing a hag in training named Margaret.
And I play a half-orc barbarian named Olivia.
Oh yeah,
We're both werewolves.
Yeah, and mine's a trickster cleric. We recently got...
I'm an Ancestral Guardians barbarian. I barely get to use it.
We recently got something very important.
Incredibly important.
Yeah, like one of the most important things in the game. One of the 3 most important things in the game. We also have World of Tapir, which is a homebrew campaign that I run bi-weekly, that y'all can catch. The most recent episode involved a fight in an arena.
Yes, it was fun.
It was. I got to showcase a few character builds that I had made but never got the chance to use before now. Yeah, it was pretty fun. There is also Hollow Knight, which I'm playing with my boyfriend Scraps, and my boyfriend Scraps has Jack and Daxter. Though I don't think there's going to be any Jack and Daxter in the week that this is posted, because our regular recording time for Jack and Daxter is on Crimbus.
Oh, right.
So yeah, we probably won't be we probably won't be having an episode. But if you do see an episode there, then I guess I'm wrong. But what am I, a psychic? Anywho, comment challenge of the day. What are some of your worst rolls? Like, I don't mean in like, oh, I just rolled the nat 1 when attacking. I mean, what roll have you made that had the worst outcome?
Probably Levere almost drowning to death.
Oh yeah, which time?
Yes. The real answer is the one where he was trying to get a thing.
Alright. Mine was... It wasn't actually...
Routing off the ship.
Yeah.
Trying to grab a fucking box.
My roll is not actually a bad roll. I mean, the roll itself wasn't bad, but the outcome was. It was when y'all were fighting the Graydon and Lawrence, and I had Lawrence use Firebolt on the unconscious player because when you're unconscious, you also fall prone, and ranged attacks have disadvantage on prone people.
Yeah.
So I was trying to throw y'all a bone by giving myself picking a target which I would have a disadvantage at attacking.
Basically giving yourself an easy miss.
Yes, that was the plan. Unfortunately, I rolled a nat 20 with a disadvantage. And so it crit, causing 2 failed death saves. And that was the first roll of that session. So,
yeah.
That whole... I love that fight, though. That fight got really hairy.
Oh, yeah. It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Everybody in the fight be like, oh, we're gonna die, we're gonna die.
I hope you're ready for more of that in the near future.
Good. I want more cool powers I'll barely use.
Yeah. So,
They may be a little overpowered, but that's equalized out by the fact that I don't use them.
I don't think they're overpowered.
I mean, 30 feet bonus action teleport.
Yeah, but you have a limited number of times you... Yeah. That's basically a Misty Step. It's basically a free Misty Step. Well, 4 free Misty Steps a day. Which for a wizard is like nothing.
Yeah, but we don't have any wizards anymore.
Yeah, but you do have a bard who could learn Misty Step. And also, Sushi could learn Misty Step, although she is limited by her spell slots.
Yes.
It's Warlock. Anywho, with that out of the way, there's no left to say but good night, everybody!
Bye!